Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode. I am JB, and here with me is the king of Scooby-Doo physical media. It is Mark Marsh.
Hey everybody, good to be back.
So we've got a really interesting topic to discuss today, and that's how do we revive the Scooby-Doo franchise? Because it's not dying as such, but it isn't where it should be, where it could be. It needs a little bit of life in it, and you think, how if you're Warner Brothers, notoriously lazy company, at least in my opinion, lacking in creativity, you think about what works. Now, Zombie Island, when it first came out, the original one, did a whole new lease of life to the Scooby franchise, kicking off where we were in its heyday with what's new in the pinnacle of, Mystery Incorporated, and all of that goodness all started because Zombie Island was so good it restarted the franchise. Now, they again, I think they tried to capitalize with a bit of a cash grab, return to Zombie Island. But what I think is an idea that a lot of people are going to dislike is the notion of a live action Zombie Island movie. Now, look at what Disney are doing. Disney with these classic live actions, a lot of people don't like them. A lot of people, agree universally that it's not as good as the original animation, but without fail, they're making big money with them. Like the most profitable animated movie is still the Lion King remake that Mario may take over soon, may not take over, but it's crazy to me that a remake is the top animation of all time. And you think if Scooby-Doo needs to do something like that, even if it's just let's give $1 billion to Scooby-Doo's name for the sake of putting that money back into other Scooby-Doo projects. I mean, what's your take on that, Mark? Do you think you would enjoy that or it'd be a good idea? Like, how do you see that playing out?
See, I would love it if they like rebranded, like reworked their way back into Scooby Doo, doing it the way Zombie Island did at the hype of the zombie films, capitalizing on a movie which actually catered to a massive audience. Because as soon as you see Zombie Island, people are already invested, whether they're a Scooby Doo fan or not. Let's see how they take on a horror genre,
Yeah, the nostalgia as
the
well.
nostalgia of zombies and that. How could you do this in Scooby Doo? And they did it in a way where the monsters were real. So not only do you get the balance of a mystery for the kids, but you also get the realism of zombies. They're real, but they're different. They're not eating your brains. They're reanimated corpses. They're a different kind of zombies. They're still zombies, undead, but we're so used to seeing zombies eat other people to turn into zombies that they were victims of a curse brought upon them. So they catered to both audiences and it did well. And it pretty much revived Scooby Doo because that was a revival period for Scooby Doo. And I feel that they need another one now, another way to revive. Because if you look at it right now, zombies aren't really in the mainstream area right now. It's pretty much going to decline on zombie films with all the rubbish that come out. It's either sharks being re-brought back to life with Meg 2 or it's aliens. So I feel like if they were going to go for a live action or a revamp to face it around either sharks, open water, Jaws element, kind of scary tone, or aliens. They could do a live alien, like live action alien film. It could work. You know, that's still popular now. If you look at the alien movies that people want to see, that's more of a hype in the mainstream media than zombies. Because I feel like zombies in the last few years have gone downhill with Resident Evil, pushing them out like wildfire. Like they Resident Evil was good, and they went slowly down, and now it's just like they're just pushing these out left and right, and it's just not ideal to the audience. So, but like live actions like Zombieland would be great. I just feel like not right now due to the hype for zombies isn't there. So it's not going to bring a lot of audience. It might bring the nostalgic folks like us, but we want to cater to a new generation. Once people see a live action zombie movie, they want to jump at it. At the moment, people like turn away from it. So like an Alien Invaders might be a good one for because it's where everyone wants to sit right now. Is the whole because we had those like people calling UFO sightings but it's a China drone. But if you look at social media now, many people talk about alien films. There's a new Aliens movie coming out next year, so it's like all this hype for aliens, so they could do something along that line. Just
Mhm.
a way to rebrand it.
See, I like that because instantly I was thinking, oh, it would be good. People wouldn't like it as much as the animation, but it would make money. But I think you're right in terms of the zombie genre. I mean, the only thing that people seem to be hyped for is just seeing the story of, Rick Grimes wrap up. But that's about
Yeah,
it for zombies at the moment. We don't really have much else to cling to. And I feel that the Zombie Island name alone would appeal to a lot of people. But obviously, in terms of what we know the Scooby-Doo fandom to be, no one in the Scooby fandom en masse would be particularly happy about it. It would be, it's not creative. Why do we have to do this again when we've already seen it? But I do feel like maybe it's something Warner Brothers could lean into. And as you said with the aliens, like if we are looking at following Disney, which even now, let's face it, is the worst company to try and follow because Disney are down. Well, I mean, look at the box office now. Mario Brothers smashed it. Spider-Verse
yeah.
smashed it. What like Disney is down, but in terms of their remakes of live action stuff, money-wise, they're doing well. So you could almost go Disney are remaking their classics. Scooby will have Zombie Island, Witch's Ghost, Cyber Chase. What's this the other one?
Alien Invaders.
Alien Invaders, yeah. So the classic four, the core four, they try and remake all of them. I'm interested to see how that plays out, both money wise and fan perception wise.
Yeah, because I really want to try and go in the direction Disney's going with because their movies are just like are just going down. They're losing more money. The live actions, okay, they're doing well in live actions, but in terms of overall performance, they're not doing that great in terms of money revenue being brought in because it's just they got the audience score there, but then overall it's just like it's not breaking in a lot of more money than they should have because it's like the Little Mermaid didn't bring a lot of money in on the first opening week. It's only took it now for them to even break even. So it's like it's not a good look to look at in the long run because people are seeing Disney as just like I don't know, they're just like not putting in the same magic as they were when they first started. Watching Disney as a kid was exciting, it was magical. Now they're just putting these out left and right without no imagination or care. They're just like, oh, let's just throw this together. That'll work. Let's do a live action of this. Again, why do a live action of Little Mermaid when you have many to choose from? You did the Lady and the Tramp one. It was all right. I liked it. But then you just really lost, sense of a great classic. Lion King was probably your best one. Little Mermaid, really wouldn't have done Little Mermaid. Really wouldn't. You could have done like well, we had Beauty and the Beast, that live action one. That was great. That was like probably the best live action they've done. But it's like Little Mermaid, it was all right to watch, but the CGI was just terrible. It's like you lost all your money on the CGI budget
I
because I
mean,
felt the war scenes just felt I don't know didn't feel really realistic. I was thinking for like Mermaid and the War is going to be like, all CGI. I knew that from the get go. It's going to be CGI, but it could have been better CGI because my eyes watching, I was like, this is so bad CGI. It's like I can do better.
yeah, my thing with that is you think about the model of the Disney remake, and it's almost a bit like a pick your poison scenario. Like the new one will only do as comparably well as the original did in terms of money. So it was written in the stars that The Lion King was going to be the most successful remake because a lot of people treasure The Lion King as their favorite Disney animation of all time. And so when you're doing stuff like that, it's a little bit hit and miss. And you can say the same with Scooby as well. Like Zombie Island is the most popular out of those four in general. So that's going to be the most, money successful one.
Yeah,
But I think the thing is, when they make a load of money with these remakes, I think they're making two mistakes, Disney are. One, they're not changing things that should be changed or could be changed, and they're changing things that should never be changed. So, say in The Lion King, I enjoyed it. I had a good time for what it was. But I think about the sequel, how that's set up. Zera, the other Pride of Lions. You could have had Zera in the first movie, even if it was just a cameo, non-speaking. You just know that there's something lingering there to do potential for a sequel,
Yeah,
and then Be Prepared, which is my favorite Disney villain song of all time. They just made it so Scar stood on a rock and went, "Come on, lads, let's be prepared and let's just kill Mufasa. Hey, be prepared. Hey." So they got rid of all that song for that. I think they're changing stuff that shouldn't be changed, and they're not adapting where they could be adapted, because Lion King made a load of money for Disney. The remake did. So
and the
logic says you
musicals.
have the blueprints for a sequel. Someone has already made you a sequel. Now, obviously, it's not as loved as the first one, but because a load of people went to see that one, you've now captivated an audience that likes that version of Scar, that likes that version of Simba, of Mufasa, that like
Yeah.
that world. Give them another one. So use that uncreativity to be creative in a sequel. Maybe it flops. Okay, then don't try it again. But they haven't even tried. And again, like, I really like the Aladdin one because I think Naomi Scott, she's mummy. But there's a load of other things I like about the Aladdin one. There's a sequel. Someone made a sequel. Like, and again, Beauty and the Beast. And you don't need to go through that sequel. You don't need to do
Yeah.
sequel remakes. That's not really what I'm trying to say. But Beauty and the Beast made a lot of money. People really liked Emma Watson as Belle. So a sequel would do well potentially. They just haven't tried. And I think that's something that they could change here. If they
Or
give us a
a
cast that
Frozen
people love for
live
Zombie
action.
Island, if they make Witch's Ghost more of a sequel to Zombie Island more than a standalone as well, like they could find a way to link both stories. So it's like a saga. That's kind of the issue fixed.
Because Witch's Ghost, we always agreed was the true sequel to Zombie Island because the atmosphere just felt the same. But speaking of live actions, Frozen, they could have done Frozen as a live action. The hype when that film came out and Let It Go was off the charts. It's like they made a lot of money through Frozen. Even the Frozen 2, they left the door open for potential, Tarzan with, being related to him. They left that window open, because we all know it's there in print. Tarzan's parents died on a voyage, which is the same voyage that they found. So it's kind of like adds up that they're related. So we could see another Tarzan live action. They
That's
could have done
something
something
as
like that.
well. Or the cinematic universe, like we've discussed them, they do generally well. I mean, the MCU kind of lost a little bit of hype, but I think it's gonna start getting some more. But like all the Disneys seem to be connected in some way. Like in the animations, you've got Scar's skin in the realm of Hercules, and again, like you mentioned with the shipwrecks. If all these live action remakes are doing well, it would just be so cool to have some type of movie with the live actions that they've been building that are doing well. And again, going back to Scooby, it's like I just feel like it's a good move for Warner Brothers because they could get a cast that everyone is behind, that everyone likes. They care about Zombie Island because that's the name, and people will like Witch's Ghost. Give us live action Hex Girls. And I think if they make it a quadrilogy, all four, one cohesive
Yeah.
story, but based upon the big four movies, I think that they would do well. And we know Warner Brothers, like we've discussed in the last episode, only focus on merch when it's a cinematic release. So that Zombie Island merch, which is Ghost merch, like all of that merch
It'd be
surrounding
really
it,
good.
it could be the most uncreative thing Warner Brothers has done. But Warner Brothers is notoriously uncreative, but it could give us so much as fans that I think people wouldn't realize if this was actually announced, tomorrow. Because I think even us would go, we can probably agree that it isn't going to be as good as the animation, but does it need to be? I don't think necessarily it does.
No, it could still be good on its own,
It just
regardless
needs to
of
get Scooby
yeah.
out there again.
It just needs to
making money for Warner Brothers
get
again.
out there, get the name out there, get more people talking about it. Because when Scoob movie first came out, a lot of people were talking about it. A lot more people, especially people who doesn't talk about Scooby-Doo in the past, they were still talking about it. Media outlets were talking about it. I feel like, do a live action Scooby-Doo, do a cinema release on Scooby-Doo, people are going to talk about it more because then the hype's there. And then that's a way to open up and do more Scooby-Doo merch for consumers, for people to buy. Because what was it, Guardian of the Galaxy? If you went to showcase them, you can get the limited edition cups
Oh yeah, and there's like
for
a
them.
glow in the dark.
They can do that for Scooby Doo, limited edition
Oh,
cups
yes.
for the opening weekend. You'd be sold out all day, but people would buy for those cups. But
And
they
see,
could do something like that.
I agree. That it just seems like it's the most Warner Brothers thing that I can think of, but I think it'll be good. And if you think they will do some things that will annoy people, like maybe they race swap someone, maybe instead of getting the people that sang Terror Time Again in the Zombie Island live action, they get, I don't know, One Direction or whatever band right now is popping. They will probably do stuff that will annoy people. But then I always feel like if we just have something out there,
Yeah,
then generally speaking, if they don't change too much, they stay relatively true to make it profitable, we could be dealing with a Scooby-Doo renaissance on our hands. And a post-credit scene, you imagine after the events of Zombie Island, you could expand it a bit because I know the Little Mermaid's like twice as long as the original. Give us a conclusion on what happened to Bo if his managers believed him. What happened to Daphne's show if she ever managed to
yeah,
prove it, and then have a little post-credit scene of say cast a decent name as Ben Ravencroft. Maybe he's watching Daphne's,
yes,
coverage of Zombie Island in the post-credit scene, going, mystery solvers. I wonder. And that's how you end it. Like, they could make it connected. And it's just, and we know what will happen as Scooby-Doo fans. Like, they'll change things, but we'll ultimately know that they'll find a way to tie in Cyber Chase as the fourth and final one of this series, and somehow that'll make sense. But just the conversations we can all have about it, the merch that'll be surrounding it. And again, people are going to hate this idea on the internet because it's not creative. It will not be as good as the animation. And yet, I think it could be Warner Brothers' next move, and I kind of want it to be. I really do.
something different, something new, something to keep us on the edge. Because I mean, there's not really much to talk about Scooby Doo on when it comes to movies and episodes, because there's nothing been posted about it. I'm still looking every single day when I go through Google. I still search for like any new Scooby Doo games that are hinted and talked about. Nothing. So the market's there. Like, all you got to do is take a chance and see what happens. So I
Thing
would
is,
love to see a
this
live
is the year
action.
to do it
It
because this
is
is the 25th anniversary of the original Zombie Island. The 25th. Imagine on the day
it was such a
trailer comes
good
out.
movie. Owning that on VHS, it's so weird seeing how that is like kind of 98. It was just like still relevant to this day. It's probably one of the best. It's why I hate Return of Zombie Island, because it just pretty much can't. It's like a cancel culture of the whole point of that movie, is because it took everything real and what made Zombie Island unique into nothing. It just tarnished everything. Like nothing was real. Like rubbish. Those zombies were real. The curse was real.
Yeah, that's the thing though. We got a live action Zombie Island remake. Is it as good as the original animation? No. Is it better than Return to Zombie Island?
Yeah.
Unless they fully mess it up.
And how could you
Yeah.
say none of it was real? Literally, Shaggy and Scooby had their life energy drained from them. It took them a while because of the amount they eat, but mate, that
And you had those voodoo dolls
yeah, voodoo
lifting them
dolls.
up, people elevating everywhere.
How do you explain that?
It's
Or
just
the dead
ridiculous.
rising and then and when they disintegrate into bones, how there's no way. What special you all hallucinate on shrooms or something? There's no way like that they all died in front of you because they didn't feed past midnight. and they all died and perished. What they should have done was go back and get the footage.
Oh, and you know what else? I just thought this is cool. They could appeal to Scooby-Doo fans as far as all those zombies give us Matthew Lillard, Gray, Kate McCucci, Frank
Yeah,
Welker cameoing as background zombies. How
yeah.
fun would that be? Or could you imagine whoever they cast as Shaggy, there could be a sequence where he's chased by Matthew Lillard as a zombie. Like
That would
that's
make
could you
just that as a
imagine?
trailer alone would get people
Wait,
pre-order,
the
like just
final shot,
pre-booking it. Yeah.
like like you could have, I don't know, like someone like going zoinks, look at that one, he's looking right at me, and it's just Matthew Lillard there, like,
Oh, they
mm,
could because especially how they can make people look nowadays. Have you seen The Walking Dead? How they make zombies look? That is live action, mate. That is golden.
mm.
So they've got potential there.
And they could please so many fans by including the animated cast as good cameos like that. Oh, and they could even cast some of the people that we cast and some of our fan casts for stuff like that. I think that would be fantastic. But I guess to conclude, does Scooby-Doo live action remakes? Yes, no, or if it does have to happen, what would be the one thing that you would want them to get right about it? What's the one thing you want to happen surrounding it if it does happen?
They have to stay true to the law. None of this high on fumes or it was all just in the head. It's like if you're gonna do zombies, they're real zombies, okay? Or ghouls. Let's call them ghouls
Yeah,
because they're not eating people. So zombie ghouls,
reanimated
they're reanimated.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
reanimated ghouls are just there to essentially prevent the gang from dying. You need to keep it all real. You need to keep the werecats the same. You need to keep every lore detail, including the pirate as well. Because the scene where Shaggy reanimates those bones is probably the best thing I like about the animated movie. It's just the sheer panic in both of their faces when Captain Moonscar just rises from the grave and starts slowly walking. Because even now, as a kid, when I was watching as a kid, the chill of hearing the zombies that moan and like screams
yeah. Oh,
just sent shivers down my
yeah.
spine. I was like, "Ooh, the atmosphere has to be right." So they can't go all PG butterflies friendly. It's got to be a bit dark in some
They
places.
should bring back the same composer
Yeah,
in an ideal world.
because I
They
feel
really
like
should.
that it made it worthwhile just seeing how that all came together.
I agree. And the one thing that I think they should get right is they need to get us at the UK premiere for that. When it, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? They need to get us
they need the
sorted
UK
out,
people, the people that do the videos on YouTube,
limousines,
there
free
promoting it
merchandise packaging.
because
Like,
I would love to see that when it gets premiered if they do it. Like I'd be there day one watching it because when Returns of the Island came out, I did so many videos reacting to it, and then I was just heartbroken when I saw. I was like, "You just stabbed and kicked my child, the inner child in me. You ran me over, and you thought, you know what? Just make sure he's dead. I'm going to reverse over his
yeah,
remains.
just
That's all
like
you done.
stop.
You
He's
beat
already
me.
dead.
You put me down. You ran over me. You reversed on me, just to make sure you got the kill." That's what I felt when I watched Returns on the Island.
Oh, so yeah, they do need to sort us out with some VIP tickets if it happens, because like they could have watched this and we've given them all their good ideas. So you're welcome, Warner Brothers. Just give us some good seats and we'll be good. Although,
Just don't ruin it.
yeah, just don't ruin it. In fact, get us on as consultants.
Yeah,
Get us to direct. We'll direct it.
we'll look out. Send us the scripts, and we'll tell you what to remove and what to add.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll be consultants. But
Yeah.
I guess that does it for that section of things. I think really interesting. And for the sake of people watching this, where can people find you on the World Wide Web?
So you can find me on my social media accounts at Twitter at iGosluigi. You can also find me at my Instagram at MarkMarsh94 and also at my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Mark Marsh.
Yeah, it's good. You've put out some good stuff lately. Your physical Scooby-Doo media collection is amazing. Loads of people wanted
That
to see that. It's amazing. It really is good. So
because
if you're watching this, go watch that. I'll leave it linked in the
I'm
description down
I
below.
still want to rechange the shelf at some point because I want to get more VHS tapes on Scooby
Oh,
Doo
yes, please.
because I'm really into my old school because I have so many doubles. Because what I do now is sometimes I have to buy bundles to get just one tape that I want. And then I have to either resell the weird tapes to make some money back so I can buy more. So if there's one Scooby Doo tape and it's in a bundle and I can't find it on its own, I have to buy the bundle. And they're like, great, I have to sell these duplicates somehow. And then the money I make from this resales, I can then put back into buying another tape. So it's why there were so many doubles on the VHS tapes because they're from bundles just to get one.
I like that. I like that. So I will leave that linked in the description down below. So yeah, that'll do us for another episode. If you do want to see more, then please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.